Why am I here today? Okay, let me just start from the beginning. Hello, people. No, I don't want to do this introduction today. I just want this episode to be real, raw, and honest conversation between me and you. So, why am I doing this conversation? I know you might even be hearing the background noises. This is just real. This is me coming out here to just discuss with you guys and share some things that has been going on with me, with everything possible. This is just something real. I am Gracie and this is Grow and Glow Podcast. Sometimes being the podcast host is not easy. Sometimes it's draining. Sometimes I get tired. Sometimes I don't want to record. Sometimes I'm sleeping and I'm getting inspiration for a content, but I can't do anything about it. It just comes and goes. This might sound funny. This might be relevant to you listening right now. You might be like, what is my business? But I still feel I need to share this. I've tried recording this episode for like 4 times or more, and something just happens. I just don't want to record it anymore. But I think today I'm here to just record this episode. I don't even know what time or when this episode when I will send it out. I don't even know if I will ever send it out. But here I am recording something, telling you how I feel as a podcaster, how I feel as a young girl, how I feel as a student, how I feel as a 20-something, as a young girl in her 20s. How life is. It's not easy. Sometimes you think, oh, you can go through it, but sometimes you can't go through it. You just want to sleep and not even think about your life because there's so many things going on with you that you don't know how to put it. So, I've been a little bit just there sometimes, whereby I want to bring out content for you guys. I have content for you guys, but sometimes I still feel, is this going to reach the right people? Is this episode going to reach the right people? Why I feel some people think I started this podcast because I saw people with podcasts. No, I don't think I've ever told my story here. I did not start a podcast because I heard about podcasts or because I knew about podcasts. I started this podcast because I wanted to help people. I want to help people like me. Not to make silly mistakes. I will always say silly mistakes because it's good to make mistakes, but there are some mistakes that are silly that we should not make. There are some mistakes we are not meant to make if we know about something. So I wanted to just share knowledge, share my thoughts, just help young people deal with issues in their lives, help young people to thrive, help young people to become who they need to be. Not just in your 20s you waste it and when you're at your 30 you'll be regretting. I don't like that, and I want people to not be like that. That's why I started this podcast. I did not start this podcast just because I love to talk. I can talk, but I did not really start this because I want to talk. I did not start this podcast because I saw other people's podcasts. No. I knew about podcasts in a strange way. Maybe I'll tell you guys the story another day, but I started this podcast because of that reason. The reason I just mentioned right now, to help young people like me. And starting this podcast, we've done over, I like to say we because it was not only me. You guys are all included. We've done 20 episodes right now, which is a big deal for me because wow, 20, 2-0. Well, yeah, it wasn't so easy. Sometimes I had breaks. Sometimes I just went off. Sometimes I was not feeling myself. Let me tell you guys the truth. I will record an episode and I will not feel the episode, but I just send it out. Why? I feel it's not just me. It's you. When you listen and you get the message, that's what that matters. Like, that's all that matters. Not me. Not me. But now I think I want to stop that. I want to stop that. when I want to send out an episode, I want to make sure that you guys enjoy listening to it, and I pass across the message in a cool, nice, simple way. I love being simple. That's why, I don't know if you noticed, but most of my podcast episodes, I just go straight to the point in a simple way. Simple English. Simple. I'm laughing, but I know I need to tell you guys this. So sometimes when I share my podcast episodes, I also don't know. This is kind of a very, very personal episode. Well, I think that's why I'm here, for you. But I don't know, I don't like saying my podcast. I don't know if you understand. I don't like saying my podcast. I feel the podcast doesn't just belong to me. It belongs to everybody listening. It belongs to God. It belongs to my listeners. So we are all sharing this podcast together. So I like to say our podcast. When I say share our podcast episodes, when I say listen to this podcast episode, I recorded that podcast episode with you in my mind, knowing that somebody out there needs to learn about this, or somebody out there needs to laugh about this issue and know that this is not the end of life. I know that this is just a phase in life you will go through. You will just pass it and you will glow later. So I just send out episodes for you to listen to. Not just because I want the numbers, or I want the number of downloads, or I want people to say, Gracie, I saw your podcast. Gracie. No, I want you to listen to it and get, even though it's just one thing from that podcast episode. So please, people, when you see any podcast episode from Grow and Glow podcast, listen to it. I'm a podcaster, but I love listening to podcasts. Like this morning, I listened to a podcast. I don't really want to mention names of podcasts I listen to right now. Maybe I'll do an episode on that, but I listened to a podcast today and I learned a lot. It's not just learning something sometimes. Sometimes I just want to hear people's stories and how they dealt with that issue, how they did that stuff that time, and what they learned. See, there's a lot in life. If you don't learn some things now, you will not learn them again. You will not have time to learn them again. If you don't enjoy yourself now, you might not have time anymore to enjoy yourself. And when I'm saying enjoy yourself, I'm not saying going out. I'm saying you personally enjoying yourself, doing the things you love. Doing the things you love. So when you see any episode from Grow and Glow podcast, share it. Listen to it. Download it. Not just for fun, not just because you know Gracie. For yourself. Do it for yourself. And I'm not saying you must download every episode. Let's see this. When I go to people's podcasts to listen to a podcast episode, listen to any podcast episode from them, I don't just download the latest episode. I'm telling you, this is me. I'm just being personal right here. I don't just download the latest episode sometimes. Why? I go with a topic that I know I like. Not just necessarily liking. Something I know I want to listen to. Not because I see someone talking about a topic that, because it's the latest episode topic, I just go and listen to it, download it. I might not do that immediately. I go with what I want to listen to, what I feel I'm interested in to listen to. Sometimes I just go random and I choose something I know I'm not interested to listen to. But when I listen to it, I just like it. It turns out to be one of the favorite things added to my list. So I'm not saying you must download all the episodes. Some topics might not go with you. I know you're hearing background noises now, but right now I don't really care. I just want to send this across to everybody here. So you might say a topic that you might not really like. There's no problem. There's no problem. Share for somebody else that will like it. Then when you see the one you love, still listen to it. Support the podcast. Support the podcast by listening. Not just by clicking and say, oh, Gracie, I've clicked on the link. No. Listen. Not just click. Listen to the episode. Play it. Listen to it. Download it. Share it. The main thing is even sharing, because if you've learned something from it, why would you not want to share to someone else? Share the podcast episode with your friends. Share your WhatsApp status. Share your Instagram stories and tag us. Just let us know, yes, I listened to this podcast. And I'm so grateful to all of you that has been listening to every podcast episode from the beginning right till now. I wouldn't have done it without you at all. Me, myself, when I see the encouragement, when I see that, oh, somebody just listened to another podcast episode from the podcast, when I see one more maybe added listens and stuff like that, I get encouraged that yes, I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting somewhere with the podcast. Someone is listening to it. Someone is listening to the podcast. We are going somewhere. So please, when you see any podcast episode, share, comment, like, subscribe. Yeah, support us. We are family. We are family members. Just like Tomike will say to our people. I don't know if you know Tomike. I know Tomike. If you know Tomike, just say hi wherever you know me. Let's know each other. So just support the podcast. You can tell me what you want. The podcast is not just for me, as I said before, it's for everybody. We are together in this. So you can share your thoughts concerning what you want to learn, what you want to hear. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, please, you are welcome. You are seriously welcome. That's why I even started 20 Stockroom on Telegram, so that we can all have conversations together and discuss. We are growing together. We are not doing it one. We are still all growing together. So let's discuss about what we are facing. Let's discuss about what we are seeing. Let's discuss about the fun parts of life. Let's discuss about the down times when we cried ourselves to sleep, when we thought no one was understanding us, but no matter what, someone is still understanding what we are facing. Let's just talk. Let's learn to live this life and be who we are meant to be. Sometimes you can feel so empty even though you are doing something great. Yes, it happens. That's why we need to have each other. We need to have each other. So people of God, this is just something I just needed to pass across. We are family. We deserve the best. You know. Oh my God! I can't believe at last I'm recording this episode and not caring about the sound quality. Nowadays, I am so high on sound quality for podcast episode. Please, I'll try my best. I'll edit it well. So okay, all right. Maybe I spoke too much. Maybe I did not say anything you like. Maybe nothing interesting. I just want to send this across to let you know this podcast is for you. Carry it to your full chest. Listen to the episodes. It's not just for fun. It's for you to learn something. It's for you to grow and glow. Oh my God. Please subscribe to this episode. No, not episode, I beg you. Please subscribe to this podcast on whatsoever podcasting platform you use to listen to your podcasts. And if you want, share this episode. As I said, if you like for this one. This is just me to you. Nothing. And you can chat with me if you have anything to say. I'm on Instagram. The podcast is on Instagram at grow_and_glow_podcast. I'm saying slowly so I will hear it very well. grow_and_glow_podcast. Now some people make a mistake with this and they'll call me glow and glow, and I'm like, no. It is grow and glow. You grow, then you glow. But this is so funny. I think I have stories to tell you guys. I'm going to tell you a lot of stories in this podcast. I have stories to tell you guys about how this name came across. It's very funny. It's very, very funny. But the name just came. And everything's just GGG. I will never forget that day. I don't tell the story. I don't tell the story now. But I know my mom, my sister, they were there that day. I don't know if they can remember herself. But I just got it. I'll tell you guys a story. Please, there are a lot of stories I would love to tell you guys. And on this podcast, be real. I'm going to be raw. I'm going to just be honest. There are some episodes we are going to be having very soon. And I'm sure you're going to like it. I'm sure you're going to like them. Because it's not just one. I'm sure you're going to like them. So, dear precious one listening right now, from the bottom of my heart, I'm grateful you listened to this time. Yeah, I am. And I'm grateful that you are listening to what I have to say. Even though it might not make sense. I still say it's not making sense because I'm sure some people might say it's not making sense. Which I feel so for some people. But it's still cool. Someone else will still understand. That's one thing. So dear you listening right now, see, life can be stressful. Some days it might not even be stressful, but you will feel empty. Some days it might not really be stressful, but you just feel so tired. I've passed through that. Sometimes I still pass through it. But I thank God for God. I thank God for God. I think without God, there's nothing this girl can do in this adulthood. I thank God for my family. I thank God for friends. So, just hold on. No matter how hard it is, there's still a way. That's one thing I've learned. No matter how hard it is, there's still a way for it to be cool. So stay strong and expect amazing episodes from this podcast that will help you. And I'm sure when you are in your 30s and you tell your friends that, oh, my 20s almost twice in a month, I listen to a podcast called Grow and Glow Podcast, and I learned one or two things that helped me one way or the other. And let's see, I feel at some point this podcast is not just going to be sometimes maybe we'll bring in some cool stuff, like, me, I like vibes, I like cool things. Cool stuff like let me see. This podcast is called Grow and Glow Podcast. So you should expect this podcast to grow. That's one thing I would just say. The content will be surrounding life as a 20s, issues we face, dealing with those stuffs, enjoying life, learning some skills, helping us out with some mistakes, just helping you to grow in all aspects of your life. Relationship-wise, school, emotionally, financially, spiritually, all the alley. I am here for you. And not just me, we'll be having amazing guests. We'll be having friends here. We'll be having celebrities here. Yes, I'm saying with my full chest. We'll be having so many people here. You listening, Seth, you will come on this podcast and you will come up to give a talk and help other people. All right, I think I've said enough. This might be too long. I don't want it to be too long. So see you, and just know Gracie is a girl helped by God. And you can be helped by God too. Expect more. So, see you. Bye-bye. Enjoy yourself. I don't come back here and say another thing, please. It's okay. Bye-bye. Share, subscribe. And you can donate to us too on the Podroom app. You can donate to us on the Podroom app, yes. Okay, see you.